is the Voice of America, Washington, D.C., signing on.
Man ain't willing to die for freedom. He's just taking up space.
Welcome to KY Patriot Talk Show, where we talk about political correctness, government, politics, race theory, and all the other BS that falls into those categories. So if that's something that you would like to hear, or if that's something that will piss you off, then we have one saying here: buckle up, buttercup, cause we ain't shutting up. And leading the way, leading the charge, is our boy, our host, B.
Thank you, each and every one of you. First and foremost, I want to thank the newcomer for coming over here and checking out our show. Second, I'd like to thank the reoccurring guest for investing your time into getting to understand us, the show, and coming to discuss these topics with us. So, thank you across the board. If you're not familiar with any of the actual brand that's behind this show, I suggest to go check it out. We are being produced by the BZB Productions. We have multiple shows out there in different categories. Just look for that BZB and it will more than likely be us. So, up until this episode, we had a slight intro that got interrupted. We had, well, a short but sweet little intro into a little bit about me, about the show, our direction that we're going in, the ins and outs of all of them. And I hope that it's something that you're interested in. If nothing at all, you're interested in the ultimate goal of us being united together without these differences of opinions on things, on certain issues, keeping us from being together and saying enough is enough. You're not going to take away people's rights. You're not going to take away people's privileges. You're not going to be a dictator of sorts, because that's not what the country that I'm in, United States, and most of these other countries, that's not what we was born into. It's not what our founding fathers and mothers intended for us, because we've had that before. It's never worked in the past. This has been the only thing that has worked for a long period of time. So, and we're not going to change it. Even though you might try to have taught generation or a couple of generations a little different, history is still there. The facts are still the facts. And it doesn't work. But this does. Is it perfect? Hell no, it ain't perfect. You're not going to have a perfect system in an imperfect world. It's just not going to happen. But here is an idea. And it's an idea that comes from one of the few that was part of founding this country. Is we need to keep a check and balance on the system, and every 50 to 100 years reevaluate, reassess, remanage, and progress. That doesn't seem too hard. Now, I do have a few personal issues with some of that, being first the whole idea of any kind of rewriting of Constitution or Bill of Rights. Any of those things being touched? No. Unnecessary. But here is something that is necessary. And the thing that is necessary is we have to make sure those things are protected, but also are, how do you say it? We add to them, if possible, when possible, but we don't overly add to them. And we make provisions on where it has to be overly majority that picks what happens and doesn't. Now, in the United States right now, we are going through a very difficult, strange, and hard transition. And if you're not from here, you might not understand what it is that I'm speaking on. If you are from here and you don't know what it is I'm speaking on, you might be a little on the, I guess, naive side, or blind, or been blinded. Not saying that you're ignorant in the sense of just like plain stupid. I'm just saying as you don't know. So if you don't know, you don't know. What I'm stating is your ignorance on the facts of there being something. Not that you're dumb, not that you're not intelligent, that you're just not educated on the subject. Now, maybe you're thinking, what are you talking about first? I'm speaking on amendments being made or modifications to amendments. There's ultimately a two-way road that leads to the exact same thing happening. One is the government sitting here and voting within their house and within themselves, them picking and choosing and making the rules or adjusting them how they see fit, which is very, very alright if they're doing it for the right cause. The problem is that's the only way, because when this first started, it was really good men. I think it seemed to be that way. really good men that had these spots, that held these spots of honor and prestige, and carried them with pride, and did these things only for the betterment of their fellow Americans. But we lost that. But we never strayed away from that being the only way things was done. Well, somebody stated something to me that really threw me off for a minute. Because for the longest time, I thought it was a people problem. It was the people that we had in charge was the problem. It was, we take them out of the equation, things get better. That's what it seemed to be. I mean, you can tell me what you think, but that's what it seemed to be the answer. Then it was addressed to me this way. We don't have a personnel problem. We have a game plan problem. Things have always been done one way, and that way is not working anymore. For whatever reason it might be. It can be because of the people that are there. It could be because the system has been corrupted. But either way, the process is not working. So what do you do when something like that happens? That's when ultimately you have like a reset. And if anybody is familiar with me, the host, B, or any of this journey that we are on in life that I've been going on, you understand why that is something of importance right now. Because I myself just recently had one of those. And to understand the importance, well, I have a newfound respect for something to be reset. While difficult and tough, rough and hard, and all those other words to describe, while it is that for sure, doesn't mean it's not a necessary thing to do. So, yes, it needs to be reset. So, you're probably thinking, well, how in the world do you reset a Bill of Rights, a Constitution, a Declaration of Independence? How do you reset that? Oh, but see, here's the thing. Our fathers, our founding fathers, and I really want to